Let's talk about a problem that sinks so many projects before they even get a chance to float: miscommunication. But what if I told you there's a simple map that could get everyone from the CEO to the brand new engineer speaking the exact same language? You've been in this meeting, right? The client knows their business inside and out. The engineer thinks in pure logic and code. They're both brilliant, but it feels like they're speaking completely different languages. So how on earth do you bridge that gap? And look, the stakes here are unbelievably high. When that communication breaks down, when technical jargon crashes into business needs, what happens? Projects get delayed, budgets explode, and really smart ideas just fizzle out. It all comes down to one thing: a failure to get on the same page. So before we get to the solution, we really have to understand the problem. Let's wade into the chaos of complexity for a minute and see why these communication meltdowns are so incredibly common. Think of a big project like a modern-day Tower of Babel. It's not a stretch. You've got all these different stakeholders, clients, engineers, marketers, managers, and they're all speaking their own technical language. They use jargon that clashes, or even worse, they use the exact same words to mean totally different things. It creates this fog of ambiguity where mistakes are practically inevitable. But what if we could just cut right through that fog? What if there was a simple map that could bring some order to all that chaos? Well, it turns out a tool like that actually exists. Okay, so this tool is called a concept map. The official definition sounds a little academic, but it's really just a visual way to organize knowledge. Instead of a boring list or a dense paragraph, you create a picture that shows exactly how different ideas are connected to each other. And the beauty of this is how simple it is. Seriously, it all starts with just one core idea, a single thing. Let's say, for example, a rocket. You just write the word down and put it in a box. That's it. Simple enough, right? Okay, step 2. We bring in another related idea, like a satellite. So now we have two separate concepts on the page. They're just kind of floating there, no connection between them. But that's about to change. And here it is, the final crucial step. This is the magic. You draw a line to connect them and add a little linking phrase. Rocket carries satellite. And just like that, boom, you've gone from two lonely words to a clear, understandable relationship. It's one little piece of knowledge that everyone can now see and agree on. And when you repeat this simple process, concept, linkage, over and over again, you're doing something pretty remarkable. You're not just drawing a diagram. You are literally building a common language from the ground up, one connection at a time. This whole powerful system is built on just two super simple building blocks. You've got your concepts, which are the things like our rocket and satellite, and you have the linkages, the words that define their relationship, like carries. That's the entire toolkit. That's all you need. This brings us to a really powerful way to think about it. Concept maps basically become a universal language. Think about it. A musician in Tokyo can read sheet music written in Vienna. An electrician can understand a schematic from anywhere on the planet. This map does the same thing. It allows a business expert and a software engineer to look at the same system and understand it perfectly. Okay, so that's the theory, and it sounds great. But how does this actually play out in the messy real world? Let's take a look at concept maps in action. In practice, this tool is kind of a Swiss Army knife. A team might use it to capture a totally chaotic brainstorming session and make sense of it. Then they can refine that same map to define exact user requirements, like user must access billing history. It's also amazing for finding flaws in your logic. You'll see a connection and go, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense. And eventually, that map can even become the foundation for the training manual. One of the most classic and powerful ways to use this is mapping the as-is versus the to-be. So first, you sit down with the client and you map out their current system, exactly how things work right now. This is huge because it captures all their deep, unspoken knowledge. Then, using that shared picture, you work together to build a new map of the ideal future system, defining the exact steps you need to take to get there. Now, as powerful as this is, it's not a silver bullet. It's not going to solve every problem you have. It's really important to understand where concept maps fit in the bigger project toolkit and what they can't do. A great way to get this is to compare concept maps to another common tool, use cases. Think of the concept map as the starting point. It's flexible, it's intuitive, and its main job is to get everybody, customers and engineers, on the same page. A use case, on the other hand, comes later. It's a formal, structured document for engineers to figure out the nitty-gritty details. They work together, but they do very different jobs. And yeah, of course, there are limitations. Concept maps are fantastic for that 30,000-foot view, but they are not precise enough for the final, detailed code. And that collaborative process of building one with a group, it can be slow. It takes time, and it takes real discipline to make it part of a formal engineering workflow. But even with those limitations, you just can't overlook the fundamental power of what's happening here, of turning a messy conversation into a clear picture. And this might be the biggest benefit of all. When you put a map up on a whiteboard, the whole dynamic of the room changes. It's not about you defending your opinion anymore. It's about everyone working together to get the picture right. The conflict stops being personal, and everyone starts pulling in the same direction. So let's just recap the big wins here. You get radically better communication. You create an instant, shared mental model for the whole team. The visual, collaborative process gets everyone involved and invested. And, maybe best of all, when the whole system is laid out in front of you, logical gaps and errors have absolutely nowhere to hide. At the end of the day, that's what concept maps do. It's like a simple form of alchemy. They take the tangled, messy chaos of a dozen different minds and transform it into a single, clear picture, a shared foundation that an entire team can actually build something amazing on. And that really just leaves us with one final question for you to think about. I mean, whether it's a project at work, a personal goal you're trying to figure out, or even a big family plan. What big, complex challenge in your world is just waiting for a simple map?